Tally ho, chaps! It's Jason from the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Sherlock 13. And my accent is terrible, I apologize. Sherlock 13 is a game for 2 to 4 players from Arcane Wonders, and what you're trying to do in this game is you are trying to figure out by deduction who the criminal is. So think Clue, Awkward Guess, games of that ilk. But what's nice about this game is it plays in 15 minutes. So if you want to get that deduction fill in a short amount of time, maybe this is the game for you. To find out if it is, let's go down to the table, check it out. Alright, so here's a game of Sherlock 13. All set up for 3 players. My setup's a little different just for the camera, but to set up for a 3-player game, you're going to give each player 4 cards, and you're going to put one face down. That's going to be the murderer or the criminal. And each player's going to have a player board that they're kind of going to put behind, you know, their paper behind that shows them the actions. But I'm not going to do that, so you can just see what's going on. So I just set that there so you can see the actions. And you don't normally play with 4 of them your cards face up, but I'm going to do that because we're going to play as this player. All right, so the game's pretty straightforward. This is a deduction game, small deduction game with 13 cards. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be asking questions to the other players to try to figure out who that is. So kind of Clue style, awkward guess, that type of thing. So first thing you're going to do is you want to write down on your player sheet all of the icons you have and which characters you have. So I have Sherlock, Inspector Gregson, Inspector Baines, and Inspector Hopkins. All right. And then you're going to write down how many of each symbol that you have. So let's start with pipes. There are 5 pipes. I have 2 pipes, light bulbs, 2 light bulbs, fists, 2 fists, medals or a crown. So that's 3, books, 1, necklaces, no necklaces, eyeballs, we have 1 eyeball, and skulls, we don't have any. All right, and all the other players are going to do that too. I'm not going to get into their cards too much unless I'm taking a turn for them. So now what you're going to do is on your turn, you have 1 of 3 options. You're going to take 1 of 3 actions. You can ask all other players how many of a certain symbol they have, or if they have a symbol, sorry. So I could ask, do you have any of these metal crowns? And they would say yes, and so I have to, that doesn't tell me anything unless I can do some deduction. So let's just go ahead and take that action. I'll do all 3 of the actions just from this player. I won't play with these. I just want to show you all the actions here because the game's pretty straightforward. So first action, do you have any of these symbols? So let's look. They have 1. So the middle person would say yes, so they have 1. So I'll put question mark because I don't know how many they have unless this person answers. And they will say yes, they have 1. All right, so now I know since I have 3, this player has 1, this player has 1, and I now know that any card that's here does not have that symbol. So I can go down here and I can cross off anything that looks like the law enforcement symbol, so we'll cross that off. So all 5 of the inspectors are not the criminal. So that's the first action you can do. Second action is you can pick a specific player and ask them how many of a symbol that they have. So let's go ahead and do that. So this player's turn again. They would have taken some turns too, but I'm just showing you how the game works. So I want to ask how many, let's do skulls. Let's do eyeballs. How many eyeballs this player has. So they'll look at their cards and they will tell me 1. So all other players are going to be getting this information as well. So that's the player to the right. They have 1 eyeball. Still don't know about the middle player. So they could have an eyeball, they could not. But if they also have an eyeball, I could eliminate more suspects and so on and so forth. All right, and the third thing you can do, if you think you know who the suspect is, you can accuse them. So I could say, I think the suspect is Moriarty. I mean, because it's always Moriarty. But, so that's what I could do. So if I did, I would look at it, and if it's Moriarty, I win the game. If it's not, I'm out. And the other two players get to keep playing. So in this case, if I said Moriarty, it's not Moriarty. So I would say, no, it's not Moriarty. I'm out of the game. So that's it. You're going to keep going until one person has discovered who the suspect is, or two people have gotten the suspect wrong. The last player alive, or not alive, but the last player who hadn't making an incorrect guess wins the game. There's also a 2-player variant. I'm not going to go into that, but it's laid out in the rulebook pretty easy. 3 and 4 are effectively the same. You're just going to get more or less cards based on the number of players. And the 2-player variant, there's some different rules that I'm not going to go into, but it's cool. So if you're into the 2-player version of this, you can try that out. So that is Sherlock 13. And let's go up to the top, see what we think about it. All right, well, that was Sherlock 13. Yeah, this is what you saw. This is the game. It's some cards, a pad of paper, and a rule book and some player screens. Not a lot to talk about production-wise, but I do want to talk about the art, because this art is Vincent Dutrait, and I wanted to just look at the back of these player screens, because I didn't show them a ton, but if you look at them, every one of them is different, which is cool. Since there's not a lot of art, it seems like, Vincent just wanted to get his money's worth, so he put some awesome stuff on there. Even that tree is just ominous and awesome. And all these cards, you only saw like 4 of them basically, but they're all incredible. You can tell it's Vincent Dutrait just by looking at them. I mean, there's no question that that's Vincent Dutrait artwork. It has him all over it. Just everything about it looks awesome. He's got like that really cool, like old school pastel or like watercolor look to it, and I dig it. So awesome art, awesome production. I mean, I'll talk about it a little bit. The cards are nice. You're not going to be handling the cards a ton, so you're going to give them an initial shuffle at the beginning, and then they're just going to basically sit there. So not too big of a deal there. So yeah, this is a cool game. We're pretty into deduction games. We don't have a ton of them, but we like Clue. We like Mystery of the Abbey. We like Awkward Guess. Awkward Guess is probably my favorite of the bunch. And this is like those, but plays in about, 1/6 of the time. Like it takes about an hour and a half to play a game of Awkward Guess, depending on how quickly someone guesses. This one, you can bang out 10, 15 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, depending on how, maybe you get lucky asking some questions. It's just fast. It's awesome. So you get to look at awesome artwork, you get some really slick gameplay, and you have rules that are 2 pages that don't really bog anything down. Easy to learn, easy to teach, easy to play. So I'm going to give this a BGM accepted seal. I'll give this an 8 out of 10, which is a 4 out of 5 wrenches on an arbitrary wrench scale that means absolutely nothing. But we like to give it the games that we enjoy. And this is a cool one. This will be a keeper. This will stay in our deduction collection. And should we want to go play a deduction game where we don't have a lot of table space or where we don't have a lot of time, this will be the one that we pick. So I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics. That was Sherlock 13 from Arcane Wonders. And as always, keep gaming. Tally-ho!